The President and the White House Fly. Ex parvis saepe magnarum momenta rerum pendent. Events of great consequence often spring from trifling circumstances. At the beginning of his reign, Domitian would spend hours alone every day catching flies and stabbing them with a needle-sharp pen. Everything that lives is holy. William Blake, America, a Prophecy. The dudes have envied him for so long. Oh, Superfly, you're gonna make your fortune. Out of nowhere, two magically exotic sounds, Barack Obama, would woo the world like spells, sizzling with expectation of hope and change, of wars ending and of the earth transformed, of peace and goodwill to mankind and deliverance from hell. Across the states, the powerless and the impoverished seized on a man whom they believed would alter their fate. They'd flock to him in their millions to give him their money, voting repeatedly until he was wearing their crown. 80,000 supporters in Chicago would proclaim him the one. As confetti fell from the air and fireworks exploded, he'd accept their nomination from a huge Hollywood temple, its theatrical columns prefiguring the White House. $600 million was spent on his campaign, with lavish donations from Wall Street. Both mass media and the grassroots ensured his election, declared to be a groundbreaking miracle. After tribute to the president-elect staged at the Lincoln Memorial, a screen actress next to Obama's podium would say, "It was like looking into the sun. You couldn't look for too long." Laura Linney gushed, "It was just too overwhelming." Hard-bitten op-eds and TV pundits would preen themselves. Where else in the world but in the United States? And grown men wept openly in the streets. What a great day! Overwhelmed by their candidate becoming president. The historian Simon Sharma, trading objectivity for enrapture, imagined the president channeling voices from the past, head turned slightly aside as if tuning into history's promptings. "I hear you, Abe. I hear you, Martin. Message coming in loud and clear." Yet, to Arundhati Roy, the saddest thing is that we watched Obama and felt moved, watching how happy people were. But what has happened is that Barack Obama has come into office, and that he has now expanded the US's wars. It was as though the tears of all the black people who'd watch him come into power were now cut and pasted onto the eyes of the world's elite, crying with laughter as he excuses their wars. But the White House welcomed its new incumbent with fevered excitement, as it seethed with Secret Service special agents, each one weighed down by state-of-the-art weapons to fend off any invasion of the United States' holiest of holies. Every building near the White House bristled with concealed racks of ground-to-air Stinger missiles, designed to enforce a no-fly zone, as ordained by the Pentagon, together with saturation surveillance. However, on a June day in the East Room of the White House, during a keynote interview with the new president, set up by his press office to assess his current media standing, a sprightly renegade fly ignored all these measures. It ascended and descended, skipped, zoomed, and capered as it defied the Earth's gravitational pull. Then, with its compound eye, deftly negotiated its way through knots of large figures and harsh lighting. A glistening harlequin, intricately miniaturized, the anarchic Don Juan of the natural world. It pirouettes on a sunbeam and speed dances in midair, searching for sweetness to fuel its serenades.
Hey, get out of here.
America's 44th president snaps fretfully while addressing
The signature characteristic of our... Sorry,
He's forced to come to a stop in the midst of a complex sentence, being distracted by the signature buzz of this Summer Fly. Anxiously aware of the new president's impatient irritation and house-trained to turn trivia into historic events, the earnest interviewer, John Harwood, declares momentously,
"That's the most persistent fly I've ever seen."
Interpreting this as a call to arms, the President of the US strikes. The fly falls. Then he kicks it across the carpet with his shoe. Its only crime was to make use of the White House air for flying, instead of for inhaling the US administration's platitudes.
That was pretty impressive, wasn't it?
The President solicits approval before exploding victoriously,
I got the second.
which the room swells with awed gasps. Jesus, and coos of nice.
Nice.
As everyone tries to outdo each other in admiration,
Yeah, right there. You want to film that? There it is.
the President urges, pointing to his fallen victim as he lets out a fastidious "Yech." The crew swiftly focus on a trembling speck on the East Room's carpet, so the world at large may share in the presidential achievement. Pleased to exploit it, the President alerts his press secretary.
What do you think, Gibbs?
Gibbs nods and scuttles off to see the deaths presented to full advantage. In a voiceover, Gibbs name-checks the Karate Kid who caught flies with chopsticks, though Gibbs omits to tell CNBC's viewers that the kid let them go. Upon Caesar's giving his personal thumbs down to the fly, a film clip goes viral, with the media's Colosseum crowing, "Go for it, Mr. President." Commentators scorn all alternative ways to evict flies. Come on, the President has a license to kill as commander, and bloggers agree. Flies are evil,